What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Dwarf Fortress tutorial slash guide thing. This is Codster Games. We're going to be talking about embarking, like starting your world in Dwarf Fortress. So as you can see here, this is the main screen. All you got to do to get to here is click create new world, create from new world or whatever. And this is the menu you're going to be shown. So this is your world map size. This isn't what you play on. You get a square to play on. That is a small square of the world. So you do your world map size is the outside world, like just the general expanse of it. Your history length is going to be the amount of time that passes before you start your civilization. Honestly, 100 years is plenty. It gives civilizations enough time to grow, gives your mountain home enough time to grow. It gives humans and elves and stuff enough time to expand. That way you have people to trade with and attack, whatever. Your number of civilizations, medium is still a lot. So you don't need to really mess with any of these. Your number of sites is just going to be the number of, like, you have like a dwarf civilization and they may have 50 sites to their name, if that makes sense. Like small villages, towers, stuff like that. Your number of beasts is just the number of beasts in the general area. And then neutral savagery. Medium is still... You don't bump into a lot of savagery with medium. Every once in a while, you have like a honey badger, giant wrens, elephants will stomp out a kid or something. So high is there's a lot of that. There's a lot of giant wrens. There's a lot of giant eagles. There's a lot of hyenas, stuff like that running up on you. So this is your base. There's no changes made. This is your base game, and it's fine. Like, this is a very, very good way to play the game. Honestly, if you wanted a bit more difficult game, not that difficult, dropping your mineral currents to frequent. If with everywhere, I find like once I get up to like 50 people and I'm mining and stuff, I'll have like 300 iron bars just sitting around, and that's a lot for early game. So if you wanted to drop that to frequent, make the game a bit more realistic, but your economy and everything's still high, and then you still have enough iron and stuff to make plenty of stuff. That's a good change that I would make. But everywhere is great for new players. So we're going to go ahead and do create world. Don't mess with the detail mode. It's very, very confusing, and there's really no reason for it for you to mess with it. So we're going to go to create world. All right, so as you can see right here, we are generating the history of the world. As you watch the map, there's going to be civilizations that pop up, crumble, get infected by goblins. A bunch of different stuff happens during this time. So we're almost at year 100, and as you guys can see, this historical figures 12, 64, 6. This is like the amount of people that Legends mode will keep track of during their lives. And then an abridged chronicle is just like the history name that they count as. I don't know how to explain that. It'd be like if you counted the Civil War. That would be what this is. So Civil War, 63,000 things happened, and you can read about these 63,000 things in Legends mode. We're just going to be doing Fortress mode. Make it really simple. So we're going to go play now. So you can keep the world and return to the main menu. That just means we're not going to build in this right now, but we want to play. So we're going to go play now. So like I said, Legends mode is not a different game mode really. It allows you to go look through the history of the world before you start playing. So we want to play Fortress mode. We're just going to go ahead and get into it. We don't care that much about the history. Some things will pop up or matter to you in game, and you'll just kind of learn about them then. So we're not worried about some human bard that traveled and married 15 people, and we don't want to read about his life right now. So I'm going to skip tutorial. I know how to play. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So here is the general. Oh, what is this? I've never seen this before. This like green area. That is really cool. Surrounding serene. I have never had that in a map before. That is very interesting to me. I may embark there, honestly, once I show you guys what happens. So we're gonna go find embark location. Now, as a new player, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this are going to be new players. So what I like to do is when you hit that find embark location, this menu pops up. I like to find aquifer light and heavy, and you don't want those because that is water underground. Water seeps into that pocket, and it will fill up and drop level as you play. It can be an issue. You can flood your fort, kill a lot of dwarves, basically render your fort useless beyond a certain elevation. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So I don't like playing with them. I like playing by a river. I like playing by a lake or a pond where I have water, but I don't have to deal with it underground unless it's in a cavern. So we're going to go no on those, and we're going to click begin. Now, as you guys can see, the game is going to process, and it's going to slowly scan your map and also look for these green spaces or places that match my criteria, which is I don't care about anything else. Don't give me an aquifer. And so these areas are places without an aquifer. So we're going to let this scan, and it's got to go throughout the whole world. So it's going to take a second. We're going to let it scan, and then we'll be back. All right. So as you can see, we have finished scanning. So everywhere in this world tells you that we don't have an aquifer there. But these are very general squares you're going to see once we zoom in. So don't click begin here, even though that would make sense. I was like, oh, match found. Let's begin searching for an area. If I click begin again, it's just going to start scanning again. So that's kind of pointless. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to click in this area. As you can see, this serene area has aquifers. There's no green squares anywhere. These are civilizations. Let's see what kind of civilizations. Those are goblins in this forest here, and then elves right here. Goblins to the north, west, and immediate south of us if we were to go in that serene area. Let's zoom in on a place. Let's go down here. Those are just elves. We got elves and humans here. I want a place near goblins. I do like fighting them. We can go right here. I prefer humans over elves. Distance-wise, you can see that on the right side of the screen. It says humans are a half day's travel to the east, and then I have goblins a half day's travel to the southeast. Now, other information you can get from this: the kind of area that you're looking at, the temperature, the amount of trees, other vegetation, the surroundings. So wilderness is just kind of your base wild, like a couple animals here and there, nothing too crazy. Tells you if you have a stream, and it also tells you what kind of soil you have. You do want some soil. You want to be able to plant crops. You can go no soil, but the only way you're planting crops is if you go to the caverns. So it also tells you what kind of materials are in that area. Don't worry about that. If you have it selected as everywhere in your mineral occurrence, you're going to have everything in the game right underneath you. You're going to be fine. So if we just click here, as you guys can see, these are embark locations. This is where the game's like, this area is perfect. There are some areas like that's a light aquifer, but this area doesn't have a light aquifer. So I could even go here. There's just not, like, the game's like, this is a better location than right here for some reason. So there are areas in here that don't have aquifers that would also be very cool. Oh, sand desert, interesting. So yeah, that is how you would embark. I'm going to go to the serene area because that I'm going to try it. So that is how you look for certain things in your map that you want. I'm going to embark here because I want to. And I'm cool with playing. Oh, okay, whatever. I was going to back out and check and see if it had an aquifer or not, but I'm assuming it does. So here you have your play now. I would recommend this for new players. Play now gives you a very good amount of just general abilities with people. I'm going to show you how to prepare for the journey carefully, what I like to do. And these are your base stats, your enemies and economy. I like to keep them on normal. Custom settings, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, my population thing, that's a different setting. So this is like your world setting. So I'm not worried about those. I'm going to go to prepare for the journey carefully. As you guys can see, you get your 7 dwarves. You get 7 dwarves that are all peasants because they have no skills. And you have 10 points to put into skills. So what I like to do is like 3. I like to do 1 person that's a great miner, like competent miner. Now this person is going to increase in mining. You don't need a legendary miner. It's kind of pointless. So what I like to do is I like to turn this miner into also like another decent blacksmith, armor smith, that kind of stuff. Give them a couple points in that. Give them, you know, some metal crafting, just general things. Or you could do, you go into the labor, combat, and others. and you could give them other things. I like to kind of bet that my migrants will come in with some extra skills, and these are just people I need to set up my civilization. So we're going to go ahead and give these people some skills. So another thing that you should do is make a very good gem cutter. Gem cutters and gem setters are very, very handy in the early game for creating value in your fort. Not only creating value, but creating economical value that you are going to trade away to any elves, dwarves, or humans that come along with the trade caravan. So this is going to be my gem setter. I'm also going to make them a novice miner. And let's find one other thing that they can be good at. Honestly, we could do something in the labor. But I can't find anything else I really want them to be. So we're also going to make this person a cook. So let's go ahead and find that somewhere. Right here, cook. We're going to put our other 2 skills into cooking for them. So Allin, I'm gonna put Allin as my expedition leader. He'll also become my mayor and my baron. So we don't want him doing anything in this thing. We don't want him doing any labor. What we're going to do is we're going to go to other. Now he's also going to be my broker. So we got to have him have a lot of social skills. So like negotiator, he can be an adequate negotiator, adequate persuader. We could do we do want to have him be we could do a skilled appraiser and a record keeper and organizer. These are skills you want in your person. As you can see, this labeled him as a trader. He will be our trader. He'll also be our expedition leader, mayor, all of that stuff, as long as he's alive. Fingers crossed he stays alive. So we're going to do another person that's a miner, like a mason, kind of just blacksmith, furnace operator. Let's give him a couple more skills. Put 2 in a mechanic. There we go. Okay, so now we have our 3 miners. Now we have 3 more people. So what we're also going to do here is we are going to go fisher dwarf. We're going to make them a competent fisher dwarf, a butcher, and a fish. Let me see if I can find it. There's like a fish dissector. Here we go. Put a couple skills in there, and a fish cleaner. Put a couple skills in there. So this is our fish worker. He's going to be getting us a bunch of food. And these other people, you can just go into and make them like planters, brewers. I do need a good bone carver, so we're going to make a good bone carver, because any butchering, or if you collect shells with your fisher worker, you do want to have a bone carver that will be able to create economical value with those shells when you create crafts and all of that stuff. So this person, we're also going to make them a decent tanner and a leather worker, just for funsies, basically. So this peasant, we're going to make just an absolute farming machine here. So there's got to be, we can do planters, competent planter, and herbalist. Here we go. So we want a skilled herbalist. We can make them a cook, an adequate cook. And let's do another one. Let's try to find something that's decent. Let's make this person a decent surgeon. Or is there just like a regular doctor? Okay, let's do a bone doctor. Just for funsies here. So as you can see, our 7 dwarves are miner, gem cutter, trader, metalsmith, fishery worker, bone carver, and farmer. So the bone carver is also a farmer type, and then we have a regular farmer. So now we're going to go to items, and go ahead. We can drop a lot of this stuff. So I don't like cave wheat. It takes another workshop to get to use it, so I don't like bringing it in. I don't like bringing rock nuts in. Dimple cups, sweet pods, pigtails, and plum helmets are the only foods you need to be growing. Everything else is just kind of extra. As you can see, 2 axes, 2 picks. I do want to bring in another pick. Don't need more than 2 axes. That's fine with me. We're going to go ahead and drop all of these liver. And go ahead and drop all of these cave fish. You're not going to need any fish or meat. It kind of takes up barrel space, all of that stuff. We are going to keep the bags. The thread is fine. Pigtail ropes is fine. 3 quivers. We're going to drop that down to 2. You really don't need any quivers unless you're going to be hunting. I don't recommend hunting because you can lose dwarves that way very, very easily. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure you don't even need a stepladder. Stepladders allow you to harvest fruit from trees before it falls. I usually don't. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So this is what I'm gonna be bring just from the starting menu. So also, you don't need to bring the cloth or the thread. I do prefer it because if you need to stitch somebody up, or if somebody needs thread or cloth when they get entranced or possessed, it is nice to have it. So we're also going to look at animals. As you can see, we're not bringing any animals as of right now. They do bring 2 animals. Now these animals are either cows or elephants or horses or donkeys. Something has to pull the cart. So that is what they will bring. But I would recommend at least bringing 2 dogs and 2 cats. I prefer to have just male. Actually, these are female. These are female dogs and cats. So I prefer the males because I can just geld them, and I know they're not going to produce any extra dogs or anything. Let's grab some male cats. So there's 2 dogs, 2 cats. We're bringing 2 animals or 1 animal. I think an elephant is 1 if they're pulling the wagon. So now we're going to go back into items. And like I said, we're going to grab another pick. I think it's under digging instruments or tools. There we go. So right here, digging implements. So we're going to go ahead and grab another copper pick. So that leaves us with 3 copper picks, 2 battle axes. We're cool with that. So I like to bring in plump helmets. The reason why is because I automatically brew plump helmets. And when you brew a thing, it then becomes where are they at? Right here. It then becomes seeds for your farms and everything. So if a dwarf eats something raw, you get the seeds. If they brew them, they get the seeds. If it's cooked, you don't get any seeds for that plant. So immediately you have to turn off your kitchen order to eat plump helmets or cook them. You only want them to be brewed, and that will secure your brewing industry very early on, and you will be good to go from there on. So honestly, this is really all you need. You don't even need the wheelbarrow. It is handy to have, but this will work. You'll be able to craft everything else basically. But we are going to grab some extra stuff. We're going to grab 1 extra iron anvil. It is handy to have 2. You don't need to bring 2. I like to have 2. I like to be able to craft a lot or forge a lot of stuff very quickly. I am going to bring in some extra drinks. That way I do not have to worry about it for a little while. And I'm going to bring in vegetables, garden vegetables. The reason I do this instead of meat, most meat is like 4 points or above. Vegetables work just fine. You don't really need to be grabbing anything else. So we're going to find out where those are going real quick. Okay, so real quick, I was trying to figure out why the strawberries weren't coming over. It's because we did not have the barrels for them. So we're going to go ahead and start grabbing some strawberries now. I'm going to do this until I get to about 250. There we go. So now that I'm at 250, now this is where you can bring in animals. Honestly, I have had issues with my animals becoming too populated recently. And so I've kind of stopped bringing animals. But like if you wanted to, like pigs are great. They don't require real pasture land. You can bring them underground immediately and put them in a room and they will live. I can't remember what other animals can do that, but I do know that pigs can. Yeah, certain animals you can have underground without them being in like a cavernous area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a couple yak bulls. I really like them. They're great little animals I have around. And I may actually bring... I think we're good right there. I think that's fine, animal-wise. I may bring like another... something I can kind of slaughter immediately if I wanted to. Bones. Bones are pretty handy to have. They, yeah, here we go. We'll just bring in a handful of geese, I feel like. We'll bring in some turkeys. We'll bring in just a bunch of like turkeys. There we go. So we're at 0 points now. So we have the items we need. We have plenty of animals. And our dwarves are ready to go. Now you can name your fortress, do your group name, group symbol, and then we are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. We'll save this under basic start. That way I have this from now on. I won't have to mess with any of the skills or the items or the animals, anything. We'll save that, and we're going to click embark. So welcome to Dwarf Fortress. This is where the game begins. This is all the information about your group, and we're going to strike the earth. We're going to click OK, and this is your group. So like I said, I would recommend, if you did exactly what I did, something I would recommend is going into labor, going into kitchen, and you are going to want to turn off cooking for your plump helmets. This is going to tell your dwarves you only eat them raw or only brew them. And that will give you your seeds back. So basically what you brought in was food that then turns into seeds. So it is a very handy thing to do. You can do this with your strawberries. Strawberries have to be grown above ground, so I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, that is how you embark on your first journey. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this to create more tutorials and more guides. This is going to be a playthrough for me, but I'm not going to record the whole playthrough. I'm going to record things that I think new players should learn, and you will find that here on my channel. There's already a couple guides out. There's a playthrough or two. There's a couple things that have happened to me, some shorts and stuff that if you guys want to go watch that, subscribe, like this video. I'm a new channel that helps out a ton. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content for Dwarf Fortress. I've played this game for 3 weeks. I put in like 300 hours already. And this game amazes me every single time I play. Every time is something new. Even if you lose your entire colony, losing is fun. It's the motto of the game. If it's not Strike the Earth, it's losing is fun. And I am a big believer in that with this game. It is a blast to see your fort that you've worked hard on come crumbling down, because like my last one, I had a werebeast, which is like a werewolf, infect a bunch of people. I didn't know they were infected. And then they all turned into werewolves towards like the full moon. They attacked the rest of my people, infected more people, and I just knew my fort was lost. There was nothing I could do, and it was a blast. I actually had fun. It was heartbreaking at first, but it was a blast. So yeah, I hope you guys go check out all that stuff on my channel, and I will see you guys in another video. Peace.